This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Volunteers from all over Wisconsin are joining the search for missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu in the Manitowoc area. He was last reported seen on February 20th. Two Rivers police say they focused search efforts on rural areas in Manitowoc County this weekend. Time is running out for now for state lawmakers to help people in Wisconsin whose water supplies are polluted with PFAS chemicals. State Senate Democratic Minority Leader Dianne Hasselbein says it appears Governor Evers and Republicans are still too far apart on state regulatory powers.
I don't know if we're going to get there yet, but at a bottom line, they should be releasing the $125 million they have to help combat so people can turn on their taps and have clean drinking water.
Hasselbein at a WisPolitics luncheon last week. The legislative session is winding down. The Wisconsin Supreme Court's Friday decision not to revisit the state's congressional maps is a win for Republicans. Democrats wanted the High Court to order new maps. No reason was given for the brief order. There's also no word on where any individual justices stand. Republicans hold 6 of Wisconsin's 8 U.S. House seats. Suburban women in Wisconsin will have a lot to say about who wins the race for president in November. That's why First Lady Jill Biden was in Waukesha yesterday talking about reproductive rights.
We are the first generation, and I think someone said this, in a half a century, to give our daughters a country with fewer rights than we all had.
Vice President Kamala Harris plans to be in Madison Wednesday. We Energies expects to spend about $335 million to build electrical infrastructure to serve Microsoft's data center in Mount Pleasant. Data centers are massive users of electricity. The U.S. Energy Department says data centers use as much as 50 times the energy of a similar-sized office space. Data centers run around the clock to support cloud computing and other data-intensive applications. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The search for Elijah Vu, who has been missing for almost 2 weeks, continues in Manitowoc County and Two Rivers. Over the weekend, the National Guard assisted with ground searches while the Wisconsin DNR and Manitowoc County dive team combed the waterways. Two Rivers police continue to plead for any information to help find Elijah, who's been missing since February 20th. A Menasha woman is being held on first-degree murder charges in connection with the shooting death of her 71-year-old boyfriend. Catherine Chesky, 54, is charged with shooting Thomas Guyette on February 24th. According to the criminal complaint, police arrived at the home to find Guyette shot in the chest and blood on Chesky's hands. She's denied shooting Guyette and claims to have taken the gun away from him. She's being held on a $1 million bond. Chesky's next court appearance is scheduled for March 7th. A Green Bay man faces over 88 years in prison for felony charges related to the sexual assault of a child. 20-year-old Haziel Santos is charged with 1 count of repeated acts of sexual assault of a child, 1 count of child enticement, and 1 count of exposing a child to harmful material. According to the criminal complaint, the victim was 5 years old when the assaults occurred in 2018. Santos is being held on a $100,000 bond. He'll make his initial court appearance on May 1st. A Menominee County man is indicted by a federal grand jury for crimes related to fentanyl overdoses, including one that was fatal on the Menominee Indian Reservation in December. 41-year-old Warren Gringon of Kashina is charged with 1 count of distribution resulting in death and 2 counts of distribution resulting in serious bodily injury. Each charge carries a mandatory minimum of 20 years to life in prison and up to $1 million fine. A meeting to discuss fisheries management in northeast Wisconsin set for tonight in Green Bay. The meeting will focus on ongoing Lower Green Bay and Fox River area concern habitat restoration projects. The projects are designed to benefit species like northern pike, lake sturgeon, smallmouth bass, and walleye. The meeting will be in person and via Zoom at 6 p.m. at the DNR Service Center. Residents of Oshkosh are concerned about congestion and traffic problems in the downtown area when the Main Street Bridge closes in September 2025. One resident spoke out recently during a virtual meeting.
At busy times of the day, it's really bad when there's only one bridge.
Bill Bertrand, the project manager with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, says the DOT will work as quickly as possible on the repairs.
with any construction project, there are inconveniences associated with it. We certainly wouldn't deny that.
The Main Street Bridge is closing for mechanical, electrical, and structural repairs. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
Mostly cloudy with scattered rain, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm by later this afternoon. Nothing severe and rain amounts. There could be some heavier rain up to a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch possible in some spots by the time it winds down. 56 the high, tonight down to 36. Tomorrow the sunshine is back with a high of 48. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now it's 46.
The Pack is back from the Combine. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers front office back from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. GM Brian Gutekunst, CEO Mark Murphy, and Special Teams Coordinator Rich Bisaccia were there. A report says the team's still trying to restructure Aaron Jones' contract, but that running back A.J. Dillon will not return and is likely headed to free agency. Badgers running back Braylon Allen was there. I asked him how his interview with the Packers went.
It went very well. I enjoyed talking with them. I liked everybody on the staff. It was a really good meeting. Just broke down some film. They asked me some, kind of football IQ questions about fronts, pressures, different defenses, things like that.
Baseball spring training, the Brewers with a 10-4 win over the Diamondbacks. NBA, despite a loss to the Nuggets, the Lakers' LeBron James becoming the first player ever to reach 40,000 career points. The Bucks spent Sunday working on their defense, their first practice at home in over a month.
There's always room for improvement, but we have the right intention, the right energy. I think everyone's in line with our principles and stuff like that. We're definitely trending in the right direction heading to playoffs.
That's Buck center Brooke Lopez. A good day for Brewer batters. The Brewers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks in Cactus League action. The final score 10-4. Willie Adames with a home run. Christian Yelich with 2 hits, 2 RBI. On how the team looks so far.
I think we're a really young team. We have a lot of young players. A lot of guys that have been around here for a while have kind of moved on or gone a different direction. We still got some guys that have been around here for a little while, and then a lot of talented young guys. And I think we'll go as far this year as the young guys take us.
The Brewers face the Giants tomorrow. NBA, Bucks play the Clippers before heading out on a 4-game road trip. College hoops, Iowa's Caitlin Clark, now the all-time leading scorer in Division I basketball, surpassing Pistol Pete Maravich with a record 3,667 points. That lasted 54 years. The Badgers losing to Illinois, 91-83. Wisconsin has lost 7 of their last 9. Greg Gard.
We play good basketball at times, but we're inconsistent, and some of that's guys that get themselves in foul trouble. It's contributions off the bench. We can't lose water or momentum. As I always say, when guys come off the bench, we can't go backwards, and so it's that. And when you really get in the real trenches of these type of fights, it exposes the grit and that we need to continue to spread and build throughout everybody that steps on the floor.
That's Badgers head coach Greg Gard. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Pete with a 60-second Showbiz Beat. Here's one of Pete's picks. There is a ton of content available these days, and it's hard to keep up. I recently just started watching Abbott Elementary, and I recommend it. The show is set in an underfunded public school in Philadelphia and tackles all the problems that overworked and underpaid public school teachers have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. In one hilarious scene in the pilot, the shorthanded staff has a custodian watch one of the classrooms and uses a quick cutaway to show him educating the kids about the Illuminati. The spit take lives, folks. In thoughts that should have been left unsaid news, actor Brad Cooper says he is naked all the time at home around his family. Cooper told Dax Shepard on his podcast it's no big deal because his dad was naked all the time around him, and they even showered together. Cooper said, "My bedroom, the bathtub, and toilet, and the bed are all in the same room." And they say actors are weird. The new Walking Dead spin-off, The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, is AMC Plus's biggest premiere in 6 years. The show, which features original Walking Dead star Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes, pulled in 3 million viewers over 3 days. Deadline reports it's now the most watched episode of any show in the history of AMC Plus. The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live is now the 6th spin-off in the TWD universe. You can catch the show, which stars Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, on Sunday nights. The 2nd season of the show Reacher recently dropped. I watched it all, so you don't have to. Just kidding. It's not terrible. terrible, but it lacks a certain charm the first season had. There is a lot to like if you enjoy watching Alan Richson, an actual giant of a human being, opening several cans of whoop-ass per episode. In some scenes, our hero runs right at trained killers who shoot at him point blank but miss. Apparently lifting weights makes you bulletproof. Great thing for kids to know. If the music to Beyoncé's new country song Texas Hold'em sounds familiar, it might be because you were a fan of the cartoon Franklin growing up. Some fans thought the singer sampled the show's music, which probably had professional samplers Vanilla Ice and Kid Rock jealous. Social mediaites were all over the spectrum, with some implying theft and some saying there's only a vague similarity. Franklin theme song composer Bruce Coburn weighed in, saying that the song shares only a similarity in rhythmic feel, but that it's all Beyoncé's. The song made Beyoncé the first ever black woman to reach the top of the country charts. Joyce Lipinski, widow of Richard Lewis, took to social media to thank fans on Twix for the loving tributes to her hilarious husband who passed away last week. Deadline reported that Lipinski encouraged those who miss her husband to honor him by donating to his charity, ComedyGivesBack.com. Lewis will be missed. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, every night between 7 and 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM.